Okay, so welcome to our term coding. We'll be learning Flask from zero. It's a Python section of our development, and then we'll be doing like a Python web basics, so installation of Flask, the folder structure. We jump into lesson one, so there'll be quick lessons, and we start off with just what is Flask, welcome, and what we build. So Flask is a lightweight Python library for building websites as the one we're working on now. So it is a macro framework, small and easy to learn, but used in real projects everywhere. So it is an alternative of Django as well. So there's other, of course, frameworks in Python, but this is what we're focusing on, Flask. So we start off what we will build on our side. It's a Hello Flask. Normally you have Hello World applications. This is Hello Flask. So only a quick import of Flask and how to use this and some common errors. So first we're going to start off with the installation of Flask. So to install Flask, okay, so to run a Flask app, you need to have Python installed. We will install Python, so which you can download from this link, so which is python.org /download, or you can install it on Windows, of course, and then you add the python.exe to the paths. So this is your system environment variables, so you add it on there, and then or on the command prompt. You can then check the Python version after you have this python.exe, and then on Mac you can just download it and install it as well, or you can install brew and then use brew install Python, and then you have the version on there, and then on the terminal you must run Python 3 and then dash version. So it is important you run Python 3, and then you'll see the version on there, right? So we're gonna start off with what? We're gonna start off with basically creating the project structure. So this is make dir, right? mkdir, just to create the folder, which is something basically on Windows. You can just make the file yourself, and then that's basically you can change and open that file. So this is basically what you'll be doing on the terminal, cd, and then hello Flask, and then this is where you're changing to get it to work inside that directory on the terminal, but on the UI, of course, in IDE as well. So IDEs that you can use VS Code, you can use some of the new AI ones, and you can also use PyCharm, which is one of the best for Flask, right? So you're working inside the best for Python in general. You're working inside the Hello Flask folder now. So from there, you're going to install Flask. So here, so installation of Flask. So for you to install Flask, you must install it from pip. So pip install, the general way to install any packages on Python, right? So pip install, and then on Mac you can have pip 3. If pip doesn't work, so you have pip 3. This is on Mac or Linux, right? So pip 3 install Flask, right? And then after you've installed Flask, that means that now we can create app.py, so which we're going to be working inside app.py, and then from app.py we install Flask. We import Flask on there because we already installed it into our space. So this is open space. You could have worked on a virtual environment, but you can work on an open environment as well. We will teach virtual environments later. So from there, so now in the app.py file, right? So the app.py file, we have the import of Flask. Then when I use this Flask to then create the area where or the function where the app will run from, right? So we're going to say app is equal to Flask, and then we have the name, so underscore name, and then underscore name, underscore at the end. So this basically represents just the name of the file. So app.py, so the app. So it says okay, Flask is then we pass the name of the file on there, so it runs from here. So this is what then that looks like. So this creates your application and tells Flask where the file lives, the name of the file, because this is in your base folder structure. So that name it will read that path. Okay. So then from there we have imported Flask, and then now the next part is we've created the app is to do the routing. So this is the route. So a route connects a URL to a Python function. So the function being in this case home, right? So it connects the app, the route to a Python function. It could have been / home. In this case, it's / or it could have been / main. So which means that you will have your domain, which is localhost in this case, and then you will have /. It means that will be your entry point, and this function will be your entry point, and then we return home hello world. So this was the text that the visitor will see on the browser. So without you working on any HTML, you will already be able to see this in an environment like this, right? So now we move on to running the block, right? So if we continue from our import, then we work through our creation of the app, and then the function that we have created, or the method we have created, will return hello Flask, right? And then for us to execute this, we say, okay, if the name is main, so if you see the similarities here, the name, right, is main. So this is just to say, to put a guard, right, which means that to run the server only when you type Python app.py, so which means that when you execute app.py, which will run by Python, of course, which means that you must only when you enter from this page, right? And then we have our app.run, right? We pass then debug equals true to it, right? So app.run comes from the app, right? So it's Flask, this is running an application, and then we pass debug equals true. This makes sure that if there is an update, like maybe updating this name to hello world, then it will restart the server automatically, right? So this is basically debug being true, so this is good for development. It restarts when you edit the file, right? And then from there, we're going to start the application, which we said we would run from app.py. So to run the application, Python app.py, this executes the application, and it starts your Flask app. You should be able to see the Flask app on this path, so it will be HTTP, not HTTPS, because you'll be running on your local host. And then this is what, as a user, you will see on your browser when you run port 500 on local host, which is 127.0.0.1, right? So this then will open in the browser, and then we'll move on from there. So we're just going to look at a common error, which will return Flask will return a 404. This will happen if basically you run a route basically that is not registered, because right now if you register home and then you run the previous route, which is just /, which is the base one, that means you will get the 404, because it will only have home, it won't have the home route, right? It won't have it will have home, right, as a route /home. It won't have the base route, so that will return a 404. And then if we look at the next error that we might have, basically when I look at recursion error, so a broken call, if you somehow were to return the same function within itself, then this will be running forever, because we'll be calling itself forever. That's where you get a recursion error. So this is basically it. For our lesson, until step 13, this is just an intro to Flask, the installation of Python, installation of Flask within our Python space, and then actually creating a basic web app, and then running it as well, and then checking common errors. So that is it for this one. We will move on to the next lessons for this